I will probably do a little more reading than normal. So sorry about that. I tried to memorize it, but my brain just doesn't do that. So if this speech started anything like our ed careers did, it would have started like Ed Finale, ... Emily Brooks, May 3rd, ... Ed Banquet speech, and it would have had 0.75 margins on the top and bottom, and 1-inch margins on the side. And it wouldn't have stopped there. There would have been a cover letter. So we all have Randy to thank for that one, but it doesn't have that. But all kind of things aside, in all seriousness, this past 4 years, we really started to build our careers as educators, beginning to build our portfolios quite literally. Can you believe we actually bought a portfolio box? Like, it's probably still in your room if you are like me. I know. I looked at it the other day and I said, maybe that's some inspiration for my speech. Whether you seriously filled your box or not, it's a nice visual representation of everything that we've accomplished during our time at Boggy. During my brief moments I have with you guys, you all, geez, I didn't even write you guys, Katie Hansen, I wrote you all. I'd like to remind you of some of these times. Freshman year, we received an email before school started asking us to spend the last few weeks of our high school lives reading a book and writing a paper. Hillbilly Elegy blasted across our emails, and we thought, Summerworth, I should have gone to a state school. Whether your paper was done weeks in advance or the Sunday night of Welcome Week like Paige and I, Paige isn't here, but Paige and I did our essays Sunday night of Welcome Week. We were roommates. You got it done as your first assignment for Augustana. The rest of the year, we joined clubs, met so many amazing people, and by the end of the school year, most of us declared an education major in the spring. This is the first step in the series of decisions that would lead us all to be here tonight. Sophomore year, we took a sigh of relief and said, oh, no summer work. I can enjoy the last few months of school or the last few months of the summer nice and relaxing. Or so we thought. An email from Randy pops in our inbox, and now we have to answer these 3 questions and write a personal statement before class starts. What next? You likely wrote some corny answer like, without the guidance and wisdom of teachers, students would learn far less about the world, themselves, or the impact they could have on their communities. Teachers show students that through learning, everything is possible. How do I know this? Well, those are the corny words that I wrote in my first response. So likely, you wrote them too. Either way, you turn them in on your very first day on the education floor, a strange place that would later feel like home. Over the next few years, we learned to love the people who we saw on this floor. The wise guy with the long wizard beard. The lady's so sweet, she's a physical representation of a little Debbie Snack, which is funny because we later learned her name is Deb. The lady who either shoots lasers or rainbows out of her eyes. I'll let y'all decide who that is. The mustache, the obvious history teacher who invented a new shade of khaki. The licensure lady, and of course Julie, always smiling at the desk. Oh wait, and don't forget about that other guy at the end of the hallway. Isn't he a dean or something? No matter your first impression of the faculty or the guiding questions, it's hard to deny the impact on our careers. We looked at these guiding questions throughout Ed 300, when it was still a thing, Ed 330, and Ed 340. These classes would single-handedly provide us with the foundation to move forward. Within 1 year of education boot camp, we were ready to go out into the classroom and truly start teaching. By the end of the year, we began to fill that big, clunky black box. Junior year was a whirlwind from start to finish, to say the least. The majority began our core classes, general methods, literacy methods, and our specific content methods. In addition to these classes, we also began our clinical experience for most people. While I would not repeat the entire junior year again, I would pay $1 million to repeat the times that I would do again. Watching Katie Stryger sleep in class, Mason teach flash fiction, Paige teach poetry, Keely teach surrealism. The list goes on and on for those who I got to see and those who I heard about teaching. I would gladly relive these moments again. I think for all of us, there was a time when it clicked. Junior year, we grew into ourselves as educators, and it honestly was so much fun to watch. Not only were we just classmates, we started to become colleagues. The inside jokes, laughs, shared frustrations, all made us like coworkers in our own little school. We started to become teachers at our own little school, filling up our black boxes with the resources we'd create. We went through the toughest year of college together and ended up all right in the end. And we also went through the toughest year, a global pandemic, and we're all stronger teachers because of it. Senior year, the final year, has been equally as tough as the previous year. We either student taught in the fall or are currently student teaching right now, and what has been one of the most challenging years of being an educator in all of history. We dealt with virtual learning and teaching, hybrid learning and teaching, full in-person teaching if you're in the schools now, chronic absenteeism, students who would never turn in work, students who learned to love school just because it was the only thing that was normal to them, colleagues who would take the changes by stride and make the best of it, and colleagues who didn't. But we did it, and we have these past few years to thank for that. All of the lesson plans, the cover letters, the teaching stories, and everything else in between has helped shape each and every one of us into the educators we are today. The hard work we've put into building our portfolios to become well-rounded teachers is now paying off. Some of us have jobs lined up, others are still in that process, and some are just beginning to search. But no matter where you are now, know that wherever you land, that school is going to be lucky to have someone like you in their school. As time winds down for my speech, and for the rest of the school year, I hope that you take these last few days and enjoy them. We've had enough to be sad about during our time here. The loss of trimesters, a global pandemic, and underclassmen not having to take Ed 300. The list could go on for a little bit longer. But rather than be sad, take these last few days and celebrate the good times. Think back to the awkward days of Welcome Week where you had a cow udder handshake, the days we used to have a spring break or a fall break, the first letter you received from a student, the first time you felt like you really crushed a lesson. Whatever your good times may be, let these serve as reminders of all that's good in the world. For once you enter the real world, the world itself and the lives of your future students will be infinitely better. You are part of what is good in the world. Thank you for your opportunity to offer what little wisdom I have and speak in front of you tonight. Woo!